Welcome to Positive Philter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career, with a little self-help along the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, Positive Philter listeners. Philip Wilkerson back with another impromptu podcast. I did like 3 so far during this conference. I did also go to sessions, I promise. I'm actually just coming out of a awards and dinner, lunch, and I'm joined by the Eastern EACE rising star, Narali. Pronounce your last name, please. Taglialavore. And so I had the great pleasure of doing a podcast with her. I really want to talk about, her rising starness and just things about this conference. So before we get started with this episode, Narali, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thanks for having me. I have been in career services for a little over 3 years now. Been involved in Eastern EACE as a committee member first for PR and marketing. Then I became the chair for PR and marketing in this past year. And now I was just awarded the Rising Star Award, which is super exciting, especially now being at the conference back in person. And I really enjoy my niche area in career services and career education in particular.
I love it. So I want to speak to this. Is this your first in-person conference with Eastern EACE?
Correct, yep.
What was, I asked this to earlier people, did this meet expectations, exceed expectations, below expectations for you, knowing that you did go to the virtual ones, like your thought, like getting hyped and getting excited, where are you in that feeling?
I think it definitely exceeded. I think we're in Atlantic City at the Borgata. It's a beautiful venue. Mm-hmm. The sessions that I've been to so far has been outstanding. It's just different, being back in person and feeling the people's energy, the hype up of being here and really being fully present in the sessions and connecting with folks and networking. It's just different online when, you could easily be checking email and things like that and get sidetracked, just working from home and going back and forth from the conference virtually to working and getting distracted by things. I feel like it's such an immersive experience being back in person.
I love it. And so, talk to that. I know that mentorship meant a lot and people pulling you on. And I've said this earlier too, like I only got involved because I got the individual reach out from Jill and Jen separately, randomly. I joked that they said they wanted to talk to me. I thought I was in trouble. So can you talk about that? How did you get pulled into this?
Yeah. Ironically enough, it was Jill as well.
All right.
She has a way to, I think, connect with people and really see people's strengths and where they can contribute to this organization, and also let people know how the organization likewise can benefit their professional development, their growth and success in their day job, their full-time job. And so starting off as a committee member, I did that with my previous colleague at my previous institution. I started working with her on that as a committee member, kind of light, got to know a few folks on that particular committee. Again, the conferences were all virtual, so it was kind of hard to connect with folks outside of the committee at the time. But then now there was an opportunity for a vacancy in chairing the committee that I was already a member of, so I kind of knew some of the ropes of processes and protocols, and also with the new vision of the strategic plan, they had some goals that I felt like I could help contribute with, innovation and implementing stories on Instagram, implementing new types of graphics and sort of posting and tagging on the different platforms to really make it a comprehensive social media effort. And so that's been super exciting. So that's kind of where it all started, and it's continuing to grow. There's some changes coming up in the next year with PR and marketing, but it's obviously also been a little challenging with the efforts in terms of committee members. Yeah, so did you know each other previously? Jill and I, we worked together for a brief time during my time at Stevens Institute.
So you knew her, okay. Yep. I was about to say, because I think that had a basis of what you could do, but I was going to say on the flip side, I don't know anybody, so I was like, maybe that faith was a blind faith. I'm like, they must have got the wrong one. But she already knew you outside of work.
Yep.
Yeah. Hashtag blessed. Yep. Hashtag I use too many hashtags. All right, I just want to throw that in there. I like doing that randomly. But so I also want to speak to this as a young professional. You're young. I feel like I'm in the middle child thing. As you're going through this experience and you're doing these things, was there any form of intimidation getting involved? And when I'll say that transparently, I told you earlier, I've gone to multiple conferences, and I just didn't get to where I wanted to be in regards to this until recently during the COVID years. And I wish I go back in the time machine. I was like, man, it's because I was intimidated. I saw people that had positions and I was like, I didn't know them. And then I realized I get to know them and it was like, no big deal now. Yep. So was that for you as well?
I would say, like, depending on context, I am a little introverted and sort of intimidated in certain environments, in certain situations, but I think the power of networking and connection and who introduces you to folks is really important too, and empowering. And so from there it kind of builds out and you meet new people and things like that. But I think virtually I was itching for that connection piece, and so it was easy to get behind a screen, I think, to kind of take the baby steps towards that now when I'm in person meeting people for the first time, it was like second nature to me by now. But I could definitely see sort of, if I started in the middle of the pandemic, being intimidated by that.
Yeah, so I get that, and I'm just playing around because you hear this background noise. So for those that are listening, I think it's because we're like in the hallway now. This is like guerrilla podcasting. You know what I'm saying? You know, you never know. Look, we out here in these streets of Atlantic City, and so you know, I was thinking of this. Now that you're on this and you see other people with badges, I don't know, what's your badge say, newcomer on it? Does it say newcomer? No, it don't. So as you see that, what are some advice that you give to newcomers? And have you seen, like, now that you're kind of on the other side, I actually want people to not feel like I felt early on, some like extra welcoming in that, because, you know, I knew what it was when I had the newcomer badge. So speak to that other side experience.
Sure. Yeah, I think as a newcomer, my biggest suggestion would be to talk to the people in the sessions that you're sitting near, connect with people. Everybody is so welcoming in this organization, which I think is part of the values of sort of like being a family, having a network, but also get involved. So if you're looking for those opportunities that may complement some of the things you're doing in your day job, in your 9 to 5, and you're not necessarily, for example, getting budget experience or getting supervisory experience, use this organization to tap into that skill set so you can leverage those skills and really have a whole well-rounded skill set to articulate for your next career move. And also, if you're not sure what that means for you, use this organization to that as well to figure out those pieces. There's so many opportunities to get involved in different ways, even within the annual conference, for example, itself. There's like subcommittees within that, so tap into some of that. And then likewise, what the organization gives back to you is just unmatched.
I love it. Oh, sorry, I muted myself. I'll figure it out. I don't know, you know, I think maybe we'll do like a quick short take. So let's do a little thing called shot for shot. And I call that, we'll do more than one, but you get to ask me any random question, I ask you any random question, and we're just going to go back and forth and get to know each other, and then we'll close out. How's that sound?
Perfect.
All right, you go first. What's a random question you want to ask me?
Let's see. What is your biggest fear in the world of work?
Oh, there it go. Oh, that's a good one. So I think my biggest fear in the world of work is doing something that I'm not passionate about, and then like going home and then just having no energy at work, and then just like I never wanted a job where it was just for a paycheck and felt like I was just, you know, kind of like the Al Bundy, you know, like working at the shoe place and then coming home and unfulfilled. So that's one of my things. And two, you know, impact. I've done a lot of meeting people as they retire, or meeting people at the end of their career, or just, you know, actually, you know, I was doing funeral services for my Omega service, and so seeing all these obituaries, and just like, wow, like these people, normal moms, dads, they had very impactful lives, and they were good family members, what people remember them for. But I wanted to have that combination. Like, I want to be like known, you know, to my boys and my wife as someone that was like a great father and lifted them up, but also I want to have like an actual substantial impact on whatever work environment. Like if I worked at Mason for, you know, 20 years and I left, they name a building after me, and not in a sense that I want to be like legacy building. Like I don't need to be ego stroked, but I just know that like all this work, all this work that I did made a difference, and it made a generational difference. Like that, like people that have helped at this institution, when I'm gone, things that I put in place are still systems that are working on, and that's it. So it's a fear, because I don't want to, like, what if I happen today?
Yeah.
Like if I die today, I don't know if I even got a chance to do any of that stuff yet.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That's pretty deep.
Deep.
All right. Put on your magic hat. I got two things. Where do you see yourself in 5 years as a professional? And then with that same magic hat, where do you see this organization 5 years? Two ideas, individual, macro, micro.
Nice. I think individually, I see myself growing within a new role I'm transitioning to in a couple of weeks. I'm gaining new skills and tapping into some skills that I really want to continue to build upon. Hiring, recruiting new staff members, that's new to me. So that's going to be exciting. I think it's going to really complement some of the current skill sets that I'm hoping to, again, build on and gain new ones. I think the impact of our organization and field and industry in general has that power to continuously be evolving and changing, and we adapt to that and find new ways to meet our students where they're at, our employer partners, all of that. And so I think individually too, I just always want to strive for that challenge and see those challenges as opportunities for growth and development throughout, the next 5 years, whatever that brings. But definitely lots of self-reflection along the way and that growth throughout. As an organization, I see us continuing to innovate, hopefully continuing in-person conferences, and continuing to meet and exceed some of our strategic goals and vision. I think we're at a neat place where we had to sort of take that step back in the last couple of years through the pandemic and sort of reevaluate our strategies, our efforts, the way we communicate, our ideas, our brand, all of that, and who we bring to the table. I'm hoping that we continue to amplify voices that are represented throughout committees, our community, and our organization at large.
And so you get to ask me one more question. I'll do one more for me and then one more for you, and then we'll do a wrap up. So ask me one more random question.
Let's see. What are your personal goals within this organization?
Honestly, I want to learn as much in the current board role that I'm having, because I want those skills to be transferable. I've learned so much. I learned about money and budgets, and so I think personally, I definitely just want this concurrent growth, like what I do at Mason to bleed over into Eastern EACE, and then what I'm doing in Eastern EACE to bleed over into my normal work. So I just want to take every role and like do like this, tug with it. Like, how's this experience going to help me in my normal 9 to 5? But then also pull from things like this podcast and media, and what can I contribute to this organization with that? And I just want to continue to just do stuff. I'm a doer. So I think as long as any organizations lets me just experiment and be a mad scientist, that's what I'm looking forward to. Because it's always growth, and I'm learning new things. This is the first time I actually tested this podcast equipment in person with multiple people. Like, I've done it at home. So this was an opportunity for me to try something with Eastern EACE, but vice versa, it's going to help me in my normal life. So I want to continue to do that. All right, that's my last question for you. You got a million, a gazillion-dollar budget, and it still has to be within the Eastern region. Besides Baltimore, where would you like to host a conference?
That's a good one. I'm a big beach girl, so I'm thinking Virginia Beach, but also I've never been to Maine, so thinking coast to coast, maybe something like Portland or Bar Harbor, just take it all the way north. I think obviously our conferences are in the summer. It's prime time to be north when it's not snowing and things like that. And the weather's nice. I know in terms of access and things like that, we try to bounce around north, south, middle. So yeah, I would probably be between Virginia Beach or Portland, Maine.
All right, shout out to Portland. I'm smiling because my mother-in-law, she's from Maine. She's refused to take me there.
So we'll have to go.
So one day she's going to take me and get lobster rolls.
Yeah.
And so that's it.
Do
so therefore, we're putting that in, let's put that in the atmosphere. We'll have a conference. I'll get free hotel. I'm going to Maine. Shout out to Portland.
Manifest.
All right. So this is the end of the episode. I call it shout outs and plugs. Shout out anyone you want to show love to, and then plugs anything you want the listeners to follow or do, and I'll put them in the show notes. So that's it. We're going to wrap up. But shout outs to plugs. The stage is set. It's all you.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to shout out Jill Milan, president of Eastern EACE, one of my mentors, great friends and colleague. You, Bill Wilkerson, finally meeting in person. We've done a lot of work together in our committees in our current roles, and I'm excited to continue that work moving forward. Plugs. 1, follow our social medias, EACEPR on Twitter and Instagram. We also have Facebook and LinkedIn. And then also, like we said, for the good of the order, if you want to contribute and also gain some valuable experience, join a committee.
There you go. And I'm going to put your LinkedIn there, too. Shout out to you so that you connect with you professionally. Well, Positive Philter listeners, it's been great. You know, whatever. Sorry for the background noise. We out. Give ourselves an applause. I'm just messing around with these buttons. And if you like this, share it with your family and friends. Positivity is a movement. Share this episode, like, subscribe, give it some stars and all that. And we're out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Positive Philter, a podcast that focuses on family, friends, career, with a little self-help along the way. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends. And like the Facebook page, Spreading Positivity a Movement. Thanks for listening.